Yep. Fire away.
Did you want to say something?
Coach, just coming off, if you wanted to see a statement coming off bye week, just kind of what the big focus was.
Yeah, I think the big focus of us was kind of getting healthy. I still think we're in a little bit of the process of that. Not quite where we want to be, but we got to spend some time developing our younger players, which was good, and definitely took a little bit of an early look, I guess, at Tennessee State. Very good team, very good defensive front. Tough to run it against. It's got some very good players, and then obviously a very athletic quarterback that really throws the ball down the field, I think, pretty well. Was Conference Player of the Week 2 weeks ago, so Drayton is it's a lot to handle. So looking forward to making the trip. Looking forward to being in conference play. I think there's kind of a freshness, newness there. Kind of hey the non-conference for this segment of our season is over, and hey, let's play the games that really mean a little bit more from a playoff perspective or league championship perspective.
Going off quarterbacks, what is Rob's status for Saturday?
I think it's going to be probably a Thursday, Friday decision. He's getting better. I think he looks good, not where we want him to be. So we'll see. We may have to go, with a different, solution there. I think he could be available for the game. I just don't know if he can play the whole game.
How difficult decision is that when you're looking at first conference game, quarterback's not 100% healthy, you put him in the game, he gets hurt, and then he's out for a month. I mean, it's kind of you want him, but you want him for the long haul too.
Correct. I think what you're saying is correct. I want to play healthy players too. I think just healthy players play better from a mental standpoint and just from obviously a physical standpoint. If Rob is fully healthy, we'll play him. If he's not, then we'll play somebody else. And the reason we'll do that is because we're confident in our other guys. But 100%, you have to look at this thing as a distance run and not a sprint.
What was his injury?
It just got an ankle sprain. I didn't break it. It's not a high ankle sprain. It's just a good old fashioned ankle sprain that if I went out there and played basketball, I'd probably get. So we'll see. I think it's not overly. It shouldn't hold him out for the rest of the season or anything like that. But he definitely is not 100% right now.
You get to watch South Carolina give it all. You watch what their backup quarterback to a guy with an ankle sprain did.
Yeah, it played pretty good, right? So definitely put a few highlight-worthy clips together. And I think for us, it's really is. It's Rob's earned the job, but we have good players behind him. We have good players around him. So that's a-okay with me.
Well, what about any other guys that were banged up heading into the bye week?
I think we're trying to get Chandler Perry back. We got a little bit more banged up on defense. It wasn't anything like, we didn't break anything that would hold people out for 6 weeks or anything like that. But the nicks and bumps, are present. And so maybe it's something we put some people on a little bit of a pitch count to where, hey, maybe they were playing 70% of the snaps. Now they play 30%. And we kind of, lean on our depth a little bit, try to, play defense. That's our thing. We got to play, well in all three phases to win ball games.
Obviously you beat Eddie George. Is it still kind of weird to line up against a guy who's a Heisman type guy?
I mean, if you were picking, football teams or basketball teams, or really maybe even any sport, right? I think you would pick Eddie George over me. But I just have respect for him as a man. They've gone through a really tough situation in the offseason. They lost a player in the spring. I've been through that personally. We talked a little bit. Eddie George is just a good guy. And you can see the way his team plays, that they kind of play to his character. And they play hard, they play tough, they play physical. And so, it's not so, thank God it's not about me versus him, right? But sure, it's fun to to go against the guy that you watched growing up play football.
Kind of going off that, you hear coaches say you'll play teams in the parking lot, but kind of for your kids to play in an NFL stadium, kind of what will that experience be like?
I think it's really special. It's one of the great things about being in this league. I definitely would rather play in Nissan Stadium than Kmart parking lot. Obviously the locker room will be a place that they would aspire to dress in and all that. So it'll be a neat deal. But once the ball's snapped, it's still 120 yards long and 53 1/3 wide. So we got to go play good, tough, hard-nosed football.
On the field, what challenges does Tennessee State present?
I think the quarterback's really good. I think Drayton is again, I think he can push it down the field. I think they got good wideouts, and he's just, you got to tackle him. And then up front defensively, I mean, they're 4 starters on their defensive line. I think that's an elite FCS defensive line, and I think they mix what they do defensively pretty well. So I think they present some challenges and just in the schematics of things, and they have a very, very good kicker. I mean, that guy can make 50-yarders, look like layups. And so I think, if it comes down to a kick, it came down to kick for them against Gardner-Webb last year from deep, and it was like nothing for him.
You talk about their defensive line. I mean, you're dealing with what quarterbacks are going to be in there. Your offensive line, where do you see them?
Got to play better.
Yeah.
Just didn't play great in Richmond last week. But they've, I think, responded well. I think we're challenging them in the right way to put 4 quarters together, to play tough, hard-nosed, football, to make this a non-perfume game. Okay, like this is take deodorant, don't take a razor. This is no perfume, no Axe body spray. Like, let's get out there and let's play, physical football.
Do you alter practice plans at all just with the weather coming in, making sure you get all your practices in? Do you move them up or anything like that, or just kind of go as you normally would?
I think yes, to answer your question, is certainly we've definitely practiced, Thursday mornings, if we think it's going to be inclement. So nice to have the extra prep time, but certainly we'll keep an eye on what's going on so we can get the reps in. Because again, we're a sophomoric young team that gets better every time we get out on the field, and if we don't get out there, we don't get better.
Besides the haircut, how did you spend the bye week?
I watched a lot of college football. I tried to spend a lot of time with my 3 boys. I was a permanent resident, I think, at the Hawk's Nest, watching 7, 8, 9-year-old soccer, and definitely supported Berkeley County over there at cross-country meet. So I think I saw every cross-country runner in Berkeley and Dorchester County go out there, run in the rain. And people were running with their heart. It was fun to watch. My son's going to run a little faster, though. I will say that.
You mentioned their defensive line, and really your first 3 opponents, Richmond, Furman, and even the Citadel, were all very good on the defensive front. I mean, you said that every week. It's like, man, their defensive front. And you're trying to build an offensive line.
Yeah.
That's a very difficult situation for those guys, isn't it?
Yeah, we've been refined by the fire a little bit. I would tell you, I mean, you can look at us. We have not run the ball the way we want to run the ball. And so we are getting better. We've had to shuffle a few things. We're playing multiple guys to kind of take a little bit of the stress off of we got true freshmen playing a lot at left tackle. I think he plays better when he plays 50% of the snaps, because it's just managing the stress, right? Yes, to your question, it's been a challenge. Am I pleased with our development or our production? Not where we want to be, but man, we're a lot further along, and I think we're waiting for that kind of breakout performance. I hope it's this week, but it's a salty group over there.
Has there been a quarterback competition this week? I mean, is Zoltan the number 2 or?
That's a good question. Because Zoltan's not fully healthy either, you
Right.
know, and I think we saw that against Richmond. You know, in my mind, if Rob's not healthy, we're going to go with Caleb Jackson. Zoltan's available to play, and not disappointed with him at all. And he and my communication is, I love coaching Zoltan Osborne because we just have a great relationship. And so, I mean, he said to me, he goes, man, I really didn't play very good. And I said, well, you weren't really healthy either. And it's hard to simulate, you know, full speed contact for the very first time since last October.
Yeah.
In practice. You just can't do it. You're trying to protect the guy. So that's kind of the plan right now is, hey, if Rob can't go, then we're going to play Caleb. We got confidence in Caleb, and then we'll just kind of see where that goes. And so I'm not into kind of shadow games or anything like that. I just want to, you know, be forthright with our players, and I think that bleeds over into the way we play.
Coach, appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Gabe.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank y'all.